Well, hi there. I'm Cameron Hansen with Lean Strategies International LLC. Have you heard of standard work? I bet you have. But if somebody were to ask you what standard work was, standardization is, or what standards are, how would you explain that to them? Well, that's exactly what we're going over today. In fact, by the end of this video, you will not only be able to define standard work, but you may be looking into standardization and standards to begin your continuous improvement journey. Well, I'd like to give you a warm welcome to this overview of standards and standardization. Now, this topic can be a bit confusing, but in this overview, we will help clarify what exactly standardization means. By the end of this lecture, you will understand what exactly standards are. You will also have a better understanding of how standardization can benefit your company. And last but not least, you'll understand just why it's so important that we have standards in our businesses. Well, let's start things off by first defining what standardization means. Officially, standardization is the function of setting and/or bringing materials, processes, and/or procedures into conformance with a standard. The standard may be preset or just being established. Standardization can also be described as the process of implementing and developing the best and most reliable approaches as standards. Additionally, standardization can assist in maintaining compatibility, safety, and reduction of variation, and also improving quality. Now, in general, there are 4 main steps to the standardization process. The first step is to define or identify a standard. Oftentimes, this can be done through yokoten, or the sharing of best practices, benchmarking, or simply using some form of data. The second step is to gain consensus on the standard. That means everyone must understand the standard, and it should be made visible so that the standard is not forgotten. Next, we want to ensure that the standard is reachable and will not crush the spirits of our most important resources, those being our employees. Lastly, we should confirm the standard, ensuring that it is fair for all parties involved. One very important concept to keep in mind is that standard work is not once and for all initiatives. It is meant to be improved just like everything else in your organization. Additionally, a standard does not create a restrictive, non-thinking organization, but rather they are meant to create repetition and learning, and also to assist everyone in the organization. Oh, and one last thing, standards are not created by leaders and forced upon others. As implied earlier, they are meant to be fair for all parties involved. Well, those 3 should nots point us firmly in the direction of shoulds. In fact, the great industrial engineer Taiichi Ohno once said that without standards, there can be no Kaizen. What Mr. Ohno was hinting at is that standards and standardization create the basis for any type of continuous improvement. By creating a clearly defined starting point, you can identify abnormalities, close gaps, and make visible forms of waste that may be otherwise hidden in a process. One last benefit we would like to mention before wrapping this overview of standardization up is how much easier standards make employees experience, no matter how much on-the-job experience those employees have. Here are two examples of standard operating procedures. Now, as you can see, these standard templates are meant to lay out a process for a worker to follow and achieve a successful result. Number 1, the standard should be simple and easy to understand. Number 2, it is small enough to be placed closest to the point of use. Number 3, it can be given to anyone to be used as a training tool, and they can understand it clearly. Our point is probably very clear, but using standards is very powerful for everyone. Anyone can look at the standard and know how to successfully complete their job task. Now, let's close things out with one simple question. Is there a process that you do every day that could benefit from the use of standards or from standardization? Remember, more often than not, lack of standards will place something in jeopardy. Some examples are delivery, cost, spirit of employees, or it could even jeopardize quality. Well, hopefully that gives you a few ideas of where you can start creating standards. Now, in later lectures, we will take a look at the various types of standardization, and we will walk you through the creation of a standard operating procedure that will help you start your journey in creating standards in your organization. Don't forget to share with us where you could benefit from standardization. And until next time, keep on improving, and we'll keep on giving you solutions that ignite your power. Speak to you soon.